What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and we have a new raffle. Get on it straight away. This is a Richarlison signed shirt in a frame. Looks absolutely mint, fantastic. There's only 99 raffle tickets. 99, and some people are buying 2 or 3 at a time, which means you've got like a 1 in potentially 20, 25, 30 chance of winning a Richarlison shirt worth, whatever. Just the link's in the description. Go and buy a raffle ticket. It really, really helps the channel. Like you wouldn't believe. It helps the channel massively. So please find the link, click it, subscribe as well while you're there. Hit the like button and help me get up to 10,000 as well, and get yourselves in the raffle. Enjoy the video. Peace.
Hello everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Last Minute Winners. We're so glad to be here. So glad to be here for a few reasons. Everton, massive 3 points. Scott, I feel like we're closet Everton fans now. Are we toffees? Are we up the fucking toffees? I think we are.
It feels that way. We see.
Look at this.
We got the green screens. I think that's is it the first time on the Blue Boys network with our green screens? I'm not so sure.
I've also ordered about a month ago when we started doing this with Mike. I ordered an Everton shirt. I've got an Everton shirt and I want to wear it for one of our videos, but this man refuses to. He's like, fuck the toffees, I ain't wearing that shit. So whatever.
I just couldn't find one that was below 50 quid. I'm not that.
He won't spend 10 quid on just an Everton old training jersey, just anything. Listen, put it in the comments. Let me know what a fraud he is. Guys, from the thumbnail, from the title, you probably see why we're here. We're going to try and, from a neutral perspective, look at the game at the weekend where you got a big home win, 3 points against what will probably be a team that will struggle this season. But nonetheless, it's a big 3 points. And we're also going to take the last 6-7 minutes of the video. We're going to look at your upcoming fixture against Leeds, a team where you won against them last season and lost. But more about that very soon. So, Scott, let's just jump into the game at the weekend. Obviously, Everton went 1-0 down. I'm thinking, oh, God, we did a video a few months ago saying how Rafa's going to smash it. The Everton fans are going to hate us. He came good, though. He came good.
Well, we've predicted them to finish 7th as well, which I think all you guys actually told us very bold and inaccurate, actually. I think a lot of you, maybe we'll end up right. Maybe we'll be the optimist, but we'll see on that one. Yeah, it was one of them, weren't it? The first half weren't brilliant, but there's going to be a few things that I want to kind of compare already between Rafa and Ancelotti. And the first thing I noticed straight away is the urgency to move the ball up the pitch quicker and faster. And he also
certainly in the second half,
particularly in the second half, and he was a lot more went a lot more aerial. Ancelotti liked to keep the football on the ground. I think Rafa's looked at the team. I mean, obviously you've got the core, who I think won five aerial duels. You've obviously got Calvert-Lewin, who's got a bullet of a header. I think he's looked at the team and he's really analysing each individual player and seeing where the strengths are. And I think especially in that second half, that's why it worked.
I completely agree. Jumping into the game specifically, obviously they go 1-0 down. I think it was midway through the first half. I think the 22nd minute, if I'm not mistaken. The new kid on the block, so to speak, Armstrong, great finish, puts it in the top corner when he didn't really need to. He could have just slid it either side of Pickford. I mean, if he misses that, God help him and the Saints players. But what a mistake by Keane. A player that doesn't really, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't watch every Everton game, of course, but a player that he never sets the world alight, but you know what you kind of get from him. He doesn't really do that. He kind of almost, I thought he hit the ground with his foot when he tried to play it back to the defender. Yeah. I thought he'd hit the ground, but it wasn't. He just stumbled. And it wasn't just one player closing him down. It was two. Very, very strange from Michael Keane there.
I think in general that defence missed Yerry Mina, didn't they, at the back for me. It won't be, especially going to a back four. I don't think it's a centre-back pairing that we'll probably see again, to be honest.
Well, you've got Godfrey. You've got Godfrey, Yerry Mina. I think Yerry Mina came on late in the game, didn't he? You got to see a little bit of him. So you've got to think Keane might stay in the side, but it certainly was a first half to forget. Let's talk about the second half, because a lot more happened and it was a lot more fruitful for the Everton fans that were in the ground. And, great support as always you get from Everton and Goodison Park, whether even away from home. We've had Everton fans down the Molineux numerous times, and they do make a lot of noise. You mentioned earlier that Rafa wasn't scared to ring changes. We don't know what he said at half time. We know that he's not one of these managers that's going to go mental, but you listen to Carragher, you listen to Gerrard, you listen to other Newcastle players from the past. They do say at half time he's willing to go in on people, and I don't think just because it was the first game of the season he would have been afraid to stamp his foot down. You obviously mentioned about Richarlison as well to me a few days ago when we spoke about the weekend fixtures. So if you want to talk about that, how he came from the wing, and I think he started on the left, didn't he? Which is odd.
Yeah, he did actually. And one thing I would say about that first half is, obviously Gray, who they signed, that was a 1.5 million signing, weren't it? He actually played a number 10 role, and he probably looked a bit more fruitful in the first half, actually. I think that 10 role suited him. But the tactical switch that Rafa made at half time, bringing Richarlison into the centre to play alongside Calvert-Lewin, then you had obviously Townsend and Gray going back out to the wings. That's for me was the tactical change really changed the game. And again, that's something Ancelotti didn't do enough, really. When things were going wrong for Everton last season, the last couple of seasons, I really don't think Ancelotti did enough to change the game in game. So that was a clear difference for me personally between Rafa and Ancelotti yet again, is that the fact that Rafa made that tactical switch, and that tactical switch for me is what brought on the comeback.
And it was actually from the right-hand side where Richarlison gets his assist. In my opinion, and again, I'm not an Everton expert, tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but if you're not going to play Richarlison down the middle, or at least with a 2 with Calvert-Lewin, he can't be on the left. I think, in my opinion, he's got to be on the right. He's not one of those players, again, in my humble opinion, that he's going to cut in much. He's not a Mahrez, that kind of player where he's going to cut in, or a Salah. He likes to drive at players, get balls in the box, and it's a big staple of Everton teams gone, years and years in the past. It would be unfair to say that Everton are a long ball team. They're not. They've always had good players that can play on the ground. But Everton are always quick in transitions, whether it's over the top, wing play, crosses in the box. They don't take 30 passes to get from one box to the other like a City. They do like to try and get there as much as they can, because they've always had a big target man that they can move the ball to quickly, whether it be a Cahill, a Duncan Ferguson, a Calvert-Lewin, now Lukaku, Yakubu. They've had players that you can get the ball to them quickly, whether it be on the floor or aerially. He'll hold it up and let players come, whether it be running past him or, just to help him. And I think it made all the difference.
But that was the problem with Ancelotti, weren't it? Yet again, Ancelotti did try and play that way with them for a good amount of his time there. He also liked, a lot of sideways passing. I didn't see that with Rafa. I really didn't. And what's interesting, despite the 3-1 win, they only had 49% possession, which is something that I think Evertonians might have to adjust to personally. We know that Rafa doesn't mind not having the ball, but if you're that. Every time Everton went forward, they looked like scoring. I believe, was it 14 shots I had on goal?
It was a fair few. I'd say 14 shots. I think it was 7 on target, was it? So not a bad...
Yeah, 7 or 6 on target.
6 or 7 on target, yes.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. For me, I just feel that, even if they don't have possession or the great amount of possession, if they're going to be that decisive and that that good on the counter or just going forward in general, it's not going to be a bad thing, is it?
It's absolutely not. You mentioned a player earlier, Decore. I must be honest, one of the things I don't know is who got man of the match. Was it Decore?
I think Richarlison got it, but
it could have easily gone to Decore.
Yeah, the feeling I got is there could have quite easily been 2 people that were worthy of that man of the match performance, and I think Decore is one of them. Of course, obviously signed for Everton last year, and it was one of those where I think everyone was envious, even some of the
we were calling out for him. We on the back of 2 7th place finishes. We were thinking as Wolves fans, get Decore, replace Martinho. You know, he's just such an engine. And his goal, I never knew he had that in his locker, I'll be honest. And he did say over the summer, didn't he, a big criticism from the Everton fans very quickly is that he doesn't get enough goals. And he said, I'll promise you'll see goals from me this season. And I mean, he probably didn't think he would deliver so quickly on his promises. But
strike as well.
what a strike, yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. And if he can get goals and also do what he does on a regular basis in that midfield, he's a player that, God, it could go to newer heights, you know. And there's one more thing I want to talk about, which was Richarlison's goal. I'm such a big fan of a diving header. It's just... there's something about it where you see a goal from 30 yards or like a Decore goal. It's beautiful to see, but a solid diving header, put your foot in there, your head in there.
Right,
and I think those kinds of goals are dying out now. But for Richarlison, for Calvert-Lewin, I think because he's willing to do that, unlike a lot of players, that's going to get you 3 or 4 extra goals over a season. And a great ball from Richarlison.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, as you know, when we did our team of the week, you managed to convince me that Richarlison should be the striker that was the team.
He didn't want him in there. He wanted Antonio ahead of him. I'm not having any of it. Missed the penalty.
But yeah, I did say, it was a brilliant performance from him, obviously. And what was key, and you picked up on this on our team of the week video, the fact that, like, I think literally, was it last Sunday? So, like, less than a week or so on? It was a week on, wasn't it? The fact that, you know, he was then delivering a week later after coming from pretty much the other side of the world, straight back into it, no rest. And yeah, I think that was a major thing to applaud as well.
Testament to him. And Rafa's not afraid to drop players to give them a rest if they've got a good game coming up or 2 games in 6 days or something like that. And I do feel Ancelotti was under a lot of pressure last year, especially after the great start that he made. And he kind of, I would say, maybe was scared to ring the changes, potentially. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but we know that Rafa's not afraid of doing that. He will rest players if he feels he can get away with it. So I think you'll see a better management of the squad underneath Rafa. Shall we come on to the game at the weekend where they have got Leeds? I mentioned at the start of the show, even Stevens last season, I think both teams won their away game. I think Everton won 2-1 away and lost 1-0 at home. And Rafinha scored in both games for Leeds. So again, a player that they will want to keep an eye on over the weekend. I think in the return fixture, I think it was Gylfi that got one of the goals and maybe Richarlison got the other. Please.
Yeah, best not to speak about Gylfi, is it? But
probably not. Let's move on. But listen, I mean, you've just won 3-1. You scored 3 goals after being 1-0 down. Admittedly, in my opinion, against a relegation-bound team or fighting relegation. So, but I still think you can take solace from that. On the other side of the coin, Leeds have just lost 5-1, and you know I'm seeing a lot more rumours from Leeds fans who aren't happy with just playing football the way they do. And I think it's something that if Everton go into it with a 3-man midfield again, Alan, Decore, whoever else may play in there, I really think they can take advantage of the space Leeds give.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. Of course, I've actually predicted an Everton 2-1 win.
Not far off
for this fixture. What's interesting is I think this fixture is going to play perfectly into the way that Rafa plays as well. Of course, you spoke about the fact that Leeds lost 5-1 at the weekend, but of course they actually had more possession than United, which is it's quite an amazing stat. So I think Leeds are going to want more of the ball, but Rafa's not going to care. Rafa will happily take 45% possession. We know that obviously Leeds like to overcommit in their attack. I mean, they played a 4-1. That adds up, doesn't it? 4-1 at the weekend. I don't know why I thought I was adding an extra player there. They went with that formation, and they commit a lot. And I think Rafa, especially with the pace that they've now added on the wings with Gray, Townsend, I think he'll really fancy this one, and I think it'll play. Bielsa's tactics will actually play right into Rafa's hands. So, yeah, me personally, I'm predicting an Everton win. And I think it's going to be more misery for Leeds, to be honest.
I don't fear for Leeds this season. I think they'll stay up. Obviously, this isn't a show about Leeds, but again, I think if Everton win this, you've played Southampton and Leeds. This is exactly what we said before we even started working on this channel with Mike. We did a video on our own channel talking about Rafa's appointment, and we both said these are the games that Rafa will win. It's okay, Ancelotti beating Spurs early on last season and getting good results against the top teams. But when they lose to Burnley and they lose to Sheffield United, or they lose to all these teams, or draw to West Brom, what does it mean at the end of the season? We get the bragging rights over Arsenal. Who cares? You need the points on the board. Rafa will take points off the top teams. Guaranteed. I think they'll do well against the so-called top 6 this season, because don't let the Newcastle tenure or the time in China fool you. He's a master technician, and a tactician rather, and he will get points against the likes of Wolves, against the likes of Newcastle, against the likes of Palace. He's not going to. I don't think you're going to see Watford do the double over them this season and teams like that. There'll be a few. They're not going to win all the games down there, but they will get points against these teams. So if he comes away with 6 points against these two sides, I know a few of their upcoming fixtures, but if they've got, say, 7 points out of 9 before they come up against a Man U or someone, you go into that feeling confident. You don't want to lose to Burnley, and then you've got to play City and then Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. I think, this could be a very important game to win. And it'll actually be interesting to see how Rafa lines up. Of course, he started with a 4-2-3-1 at the weekend, and then actually changed to that more of a 4-4-2.
Would you bring Mina in? Would you bring him straight in, knowing that there's a lot of pace in that team with Helder Costa, Rafinha, of course. Ayling is no slouch. They'd like to commit down the wings. Do you think he'll go to a 5, or do you think he'll say, no, we're good enough with a 4, we'll sit back with Decore and Allen? Do you think he brings Mina in? Who for, if that's the case?
I think I think Mina will be obviously more game fit, and I think Holgate will be the one that drops out. So I think that's the change you'll see. I actually think I'll go for that 4-2-3-1, how he actually started the game. Right? I know it didn't work well against Saints, but when you're matching up the formations, to have Decore and Allen in that midfield together, especially, I think that's going to be it. That's going to be where the game's going to potentially be won, especially when Leeds, sometimes when they go proper attacking. I know Leeds like to really get back, but I think Everton have pace they've already alluded to. So there is a potential for Leeds to get caught out there. And at times, they literally had one man in that centre midfield position. I think the Decore and Allen as a combination there, that's where the game's going to be won, that midfield battle. So I think we do see a 4 at the back, and I think he actually goes a 4-2-3-1 like he did at the weekend.
But more tactically, as he did in the second half, because you look at the game against Southampton, to take it back to that, Southampton set up with quite an old-fashioned rigid 4-4-2 with Armstrong and Adams, Shea Adams down the left-hand side of that 2, and of course Armstrong on the right. You're not going to get that with Leeds. Yes, they've only got Bamford up front, and they do like to have players come in, the likes of Rafinha and so on and so forth. I think that might play into Everton's hands a little bit more. I think they'll be happy to sit back, not on the edge of their box, but maybe just drop off 15, 20 yards into their own half and say, if you want to try and break us down, that's fine. We've got Allen who can make that cutting pass. We've got Decore who can drive forward like those Yaya runs. We've seen him do it before. And then you've always got, Iwobi who can do something. You've got Richarlison. You've got Calvert-Lewin as well. So I'm it's not going to be an easy game. We know it's not. But I am quietly confident for Everton at the weekend, I must say.
And I mean, look, you just mentioned Iwobi as well, who's become a bit of a meme. I mean, even Iwobi looked quite dangerous when he come on at the weekend. I
think he got the assist for the Decore goal, didn't he? I think it was a header down. So, absolutely.
Obviously, I've gave my score prediction, so let's just finish off then. Obviously, I've gave a 2-1 Everton prediction. What's yours then?
I forgot what I've put on our prediction video. I can get it up now. I can't remember. Oh, I'll put it in the comments. I'll post it in the comments. I did go for I think I went for an Everton win. I think I did go for like a close. Did I? Oh, did I? No, do you know what? I think I went 2-2.
Oh, you've gone for a draw then.
I think I went to. Did I go 2-2? I might do. I'll put it in the comments for you guys. I'll put it in the comments as to what I think.
Yeah, we'll drop it in the comments. Guys, also
loss.
drop your score predictions in the comments as well. Are you thinking you're going to beat Leeds? Mike, also drop your prediction in. I'm sure people will be interested to see your prediction. So drop that in the comments as well. And we'll see you next week.
Take care.